10 years since the Carolina Panthers have made the playoffs, and they're not just making the playoffs. Folks, they're hosting their own game. Now, before you haters start to get in the comments and say you don't deserve, you're probably right or you're probably wrong. Doesn't matter. You know why? Because people in first class do not concern themselves with people in coach. And when you're hosting a home game, come on, go back in with your group in Group 5 because Group 1 is already in our seats having beverages. Would you like champagne, mimosa?
Yes, please.
So I'm excited. The city needs it. The city wants it. Look, they've been complaining. They've been pitchforking. And now they officially have a wild card game here in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Bank of America Stadium on 800 South Main Street, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28205. Just in case you were wondering.
I've been there.
Yeah.
We've been there together. I love that place. It rocks. Listen, what I'm fascinated about, I want your take on this, is when I call around the league, Steve, it's essentially this is the most wide open postseason that anybody can remember in recent memory. So if you're in first class and you're in the dance, this might be the year that anybody has a chance. The AFC, real quick, I talked to a GM yesterday who said I could see all three wildcard teams winning. Bills and Texans and Chargers winning their first round game easy. Like that's how wide open this entire postseason is. So if you're in, anything is possible.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's get into it then. What have you seen from Carolina lately? Let's go with the positive first. No, because there's some things concerning. Obviously, Panthers fans would say the same thing.
Yes.
The positives first of, if these things happen, they beat the Los Angeles Rams.
There's a number of things I believe they need to do to be able to beat the Los Angeles Rams. And before I start, the one theme that I keep hearing around Charlotte, people are approaching me. Steve, what do you think? What do you think? And I said, hey, we're in the race. When you're in the race, that's all you ask for. It's a new season. And then people will say, well, we beat them already. So I've heard people here in Charlotte, they say, well, we almost beat the 49ers. Almost don't count, man. And against the Rams, that was an interesting game.
Oh, yeah.
The Rams had 51 plays that they ran. The Panthers had 62. Obviously, Captain Obvious, 0 turnovers by the Carolina Panthers. 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions, and one forced fumble. Time of possession, 35 minutes versus the Rams, 24 minutes. Right? 31-28.
Rams barely had the ball in the third quarter. Like the whole third quarter.
Exactly. And I'm not saying that the Rams are going to win or trying to paint this picture that the Carolina Panthers have no chance. I'm not doing that. I'm just, if you want to recite the game, you got to make sure that you're reciting it accurately, but understand, you beat a team during a season, that is not a guarantee that you're going to win the next time you play, because in the NFL, the new season starts in the playoffs. Everyone's 0-0.
Let's do this, Steve, before we get to it. You've played in a lot of playoff games. Tell everybody.
Don't tell people, though.
Speed of game.
Different.
What are the differences in playoff games to regular season games?
Playoff games, playoff games, you have a ton of information, and it can be information overload. It can be analysis. It can be paralysis by analysis.
You got to balance that during the week.
You have to balance it because there's so much data. You got 18 weeks. That's 1,026 plays to go through, to look at and decide what you see. And so the reason why you can't look at the game against the Carolina Panthers and Los Angeles Rams as a solidified answer for either parties, because it is not a guarantee that everything is going to turn out exactly the same way it did the first time around.
Exactly. And we talked on this show, you can go back and watch it, guys, if you'd like to, about the formula that worked for the Panthers, right? You and I talked about it with Dave Canales coming from Pete Carroll and spending so much time in Seattle. It was they ran the ball really, really well.
Yes, they did.
You broke down the time of possession. They controlled the clock.
Yes.
They didn't turn the football over.
Nope.
And just like you always saw Russell Wilson do over those years, Bryce Young made big throws in big moments.
Yes.
Both fourth downs, he completes a touchdown pass. And like that was the formula that worked. Can you do that again? You certainly have the running backs to do it. You certainly have a formula that works. The concern is, and when I ask people around the league, is the offense has been up and down. Which offense are you going to get?
Yep.
The defense has issues on third down and getting after the quarterback.
And they've had some injuries at significant spots.
Certainly.
Right.
But
starters are not available. Some starters on the defense are not available. Wallace, he's hurt. Does he come back? I don't know. He was on IR designated. I don't know if they designate him return yet, but I know they get David Moore back, so that's a speedster down the field. We've missed a little. He's kind of went a little MIA a little bit, and it sucks. But it's part of the process of being a young player. Xavier Legette has really kind of struggled a little bit with his presence and consistency in catching the football, being explosive, and being that big play guy outside of T-Mac that they need. Coker's catching everything thrown in his vicinity, running outstanding routes. You can go back and look. A couple of years ago, I talked about Jalen Coker. He was on that. He has done a really good job of just being himself and coming up at clutch moments. But what's really scary, especially after watching a young team maybe not show up or be ready to show up, is their last game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Almost 15-minute difference of time of possession. In the 8 wins that the Carolina Panthers have, they're averaging 25 points, 342 yards a game.
Steve, when you look at the way he plays, why are we seeing like, hey, could we get this Bryce? And man, when I ask around the league, the one thing that jumps out to everybody is, man, I'll tell you, he is very calm in big moments. He's not going to get flustered. He's going to stay even keel. Obviously, there's certain things of his game that are still in question. But why do you think there's this inconsistency where we're seeing this one Bryce 1 week in the passing game and then the next week the passing game is? I think that's what we're looking at with this game, because they have the ability to win.
So some people, depending on where you live, some people are going to say, what does this offense need to do, or which offense is going to show up? And then there's other people who say, which Bryce Young is going to show up? Well, they go hand in hand because Bryce Young is the offense and the offense is Bryce Young. So you can't put it on just Bryce Young, but Bryce Young's comfortability of going through his progressions in the pocket has to do with, can they solidify some steadiness up front?
Yep. And that's first down, right, Steve?
Yes.
They run the ball well on first down, which they did against the Rams when they played each other earlier. I remember Sean McVay after the game being like, man, Rico Dowdle, Hubbard, they're falling down forward every single play. There's a push up front every single rush. That helps the entire offense. I want to see that part of it. You're right, early on downs. You're right, up front's big.
Up front is big because that allows your play caller to be comfortable on what can I do? What plays can I run? Because here is something that people may gloss over.
Okay.
Man, when you're getting a ton of penetration up front and causing a lot of timing issues and disrupting pulling and run plays. Those coaches sit there and start to eliminate plays as players start to eliminate your play call. When you're sitting there, you go, hey, man, last time we ran this play, it was a negative run. When we tried to do this play action, it was a negative run. So you got to stay on schedule. And what the Carolina Panthers really need to help themselves is they need to live a better life on third down. Third down has been average. And you're going into the playoffs and playing a good team. And if you want to go to the next step, third down, staying on the field, continuously getting more plays, but you can't go 7 for 15. You can't go 3 for 18. Right? There are times and someone said in the comments, like, you know, and I love that, and I wrote it down. I was like, hey, the Carolina Panthers on third down are 37%. However, this week they were like 7 for 7. They said, make that make sense. Well, I know you don't know how to do math, and obviously I don't know how to do math. So what I'm saying is they were having an outlier, but technically they're below 50%. I think they're like 43% in third down conversions. It's not good.
The 36%.
Okay, 36%.
Yep.
36% on third down.
That's 25th in the NFL. I think what plays into that, Steve, honestly, and
do tell.
People are kind of torn on this, and it's
yes, they are.
Defenses
Go
have
ahead.
played. Defenses
you
have
said
played
it, not
differently.
me. Go ahead.
Defenses have played him differently. There's an aspect of this of Bryce using his legs on third down, finding ways to extend drives on third down.
Smart.
Now, the way it's smart, and he's good at it.
Yes.
And the way teams have combated is, like, if you can find an athlete that you have defensively that can spy and make sure that he can't outrun you on the outside. That's what certain teams have done to eliminate that aspect of him finding ways to try to extend drives on third down. When he gets that off-schedule ability sometimes where you've seen it flash, teams haven't been able to defend it without the ability of getting somebody out there. The teams that have been successful is how they did it. I'm curious what Chris Shula does. Very good defensive coordinator in this league and in the running for maybe some of these head coaching jobs. How do they, now that they already saw the way that Bryce can play and they already played each other, what did they do to make sure? I think that third down cat and mouse game of how Bryce can maybe extend some plays and how he can maybe pick apart when they drop into zone, he was very good about that. When these two teams played each other last time. I think you're right. That's a really big matchup in terms of how this game goes down. You mentioned Coker earlier, and I just kind of wanted to revisit it. Do you feel like this is the type of game, and if you want to make a run in the postseason, T-Mac is such a big part of what you do in the passing game? 30% of the receptions 30% of the passes for a rookie
that are being thrown is going to T-Mac, and that's best among all rookies, and that's best among all rookies in a very long time.
Yeah,
right?
It's remarkable.
Yes, it is.
How do you? And obviously, you understand that the Rams are going to go, okay, that's what they do. You know, the old Bill Belichick thing of like
you
take away
eliminate
what they do best,
yes,
and then
you
make
eliminate
somebody else beat you.
Correct, and that's football 101, right? You go down the checklist and figure out who makes us nervous, and who doesn't make us nervous.
Yeah,
the people that don't make us nervous, I'm not gonna name them because you're not gonna give me. They're gonna get mad at me if I name them, so I'm not gonna name the people. But you could subscribe and also drop a comment. Who are some of the young players on the Carolina Panthers team, offensively and defensively, that you feel should step up, or drop the name in there that says, hey, I'm expecting or I need big things from you. Mm-hmm. I think Coker has that ability just because his savviness. He's not a speedster. So it's not all of a sudden where he's going to sneak up on somebody. But you have to implement Jimmy Horn, and they're doing a good job of it. I just think give my man some routes versus the gadgets. I would love to see if Jimmy Horn can get involved in the actual pass game that's caught down the field more than behind the line of scrimmage or a jet sweep. Because, yes, his speed can help, but it can help if you haven't used it during the season to make the opposing team concern themselves with it.
What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house, it's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action, so when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood. Now available across the US, download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Do you think, Steve, what helps him is you lean into, and obviously you don't want to not go to your best receiver in T-Mac, but can you find instances, does this happen, did this happen with you, to where you utilize the attention that T-Mac's going to get to your advantage?
Absolutely.
And he's got to sell it as a young player, right? But
he's been doing that though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'm going on record and saying he has been doing that. When you're the number one wide receiver, you know that there's a handful of plays, whether the team calls them or not. You know there's a handful of plays. These are my plays. These are the plays that I know I'm going to get the football. Every offense has a package for their players, meaning the number one wide receiver has his plays. The number two wide receiver, he's going to have his plays based on what he does. And the number three, which may be a tight end or running back, but it's the next guy you can count on that will give you what you're looking for on third down or touchdown or in the red zone or getting that conversion, no matter what down it is, right? And okay, which guard do we want to pull and which side do we feel more comfortable pulling to versus the other side, right? So there's going to be a lot of cat and mouse in this game and a ton of chess, but it's going to be some flat out checkers and some old mother maid and go fish simply because you have to be able to do your bread and butter. You have to sometimes line up and say, we're running the football and we're going here, and you are going to have to stop us, and our guys are going to have to step up and double teams and ISO block because there is no next week. This is it. You win, you move on. You lose, you go on vacation.
Yeah, I wasn't saying T-Mac doesn't sell, but when he's a decoy, I'm saying he's got to be able to make sure they can take advantage of that.
Yeah, I'm just going down a list. I'm just going down a list of things that are going to happen, that are actually happening right now in the facility as we record, that they're going through an office. It's 11 o'clock. They've already been through that. Yep. They've already went through the first and second down. They already know, hey, like there are plays like, man, I know this is my play. This is the play I need to haul ass and make sure this guy can get the ball, because if he could get the ball, that puts the defense coordinator in a bind where now he has to make adjustments. And that's where the chess match goes. Hey, we weren't counting on Xavier Legette catching a 35-yard bomb. Oh, okay, he's coming to play.
Yeah.
So that's what you're going to need, right? Chuba Hubbard. You know, he's been I think remarkable. Had a fumble, but come on, folks. Stop acting like it wasn't raining. let's not act like hasn't been reliable.
Mm-hmm.
It's a number of mistakes that equal up at the end of the game. It's not 2 mistakes.
Mm-hmm. And listen, the Rams have made mistakes over the last several weeks.
Oh,
They've
is
hurt
the first
themselves. So in this game, right, Steve? If you make fewer mistakes, you have a very good chance. The other part that I want to get to before we go on this is you mentioned the other people stepping up and the other receivers that you mentioned. To me, I kind of have an eye on both running backs in the passing game, in the screen game. And do you see that being an aspect that they can utilize in some capacity because you know they're going to run the football? And I like the way Dowdle runs the football. If you ask people around the league, he can wear teams out, man. He can wear you out as a defense. And that's something I would be concerned with if I was the Rams. He runs. The comp was him, and I know you and I have talked about him before. It's like Isaiah Pacheco when he first came to the league. Like, he is going to murder people on his way going forward down the field. Rico Dowdle kind of runs that very aggressive style to kind of wear a defense out. Can these backs, how big of a part do they play? And can they be used in the passing game in some sort of fashion? I know they've, at times, my understanding is tried, and maybe it hasn't been as successful as they've wanted it to be.
Well, let me take off my former Carolina or take my scouting department hat off and just throw on my fan hat, right? My fandom hat.
Fan hat.
I would say I hope not on the screen game.
Because you're checking down?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you start, and let's be honest, a screen is kind of like back in, the screen in today's football is like, it is the great example of, remember back in the day, 3rd and 12, what their teams run? Draw. Yes.
Yeah.
Right? It becomes predictable. When you start to run these screen passes, when you can't get the ball down the field, you're not doing a great job of pass pro, and all of a sudden you try to throw this screen in there, and that's how a D lineman catches a pick. The pressure comes and the ball is thrown behind you, right? There's just too many opportunities for error and become predictable. I want to go back to something that I don't think you realize. Like, I just went through a couple of weeks of the Carolina Panthers, right? Week 1, they ran 61 plays against Jacksonville Jaguars. We all know Jacksonville Jaguars, probably a pretty good team. Next week, 77 plays. But from week 2, and I just stopped because I didn't want to go further, to week 6. You want to know third down?
Hit me.
5 for 15, 3 for 11, 5 for 14, 5 for 11, and 3 for 8. And these are, some of these they've won, and some of these they have lost. You cannot expect to win a football game converting 3 third downs. That is not efficient football. So that's what makes me nervous for this game is, can they open up on 3rd down and stay alive? And I believe, based on my data, that the Los Angeles Rams are thinking the exact same thing.
100%.
Let's keep everything in front of us on 1st and 2nd down. Let's press them and now make them uncomfortable in 3rd down. And why I say make them uncomfortable is you rarely have had a very high percentage in 3rd down of achieving it.
Yeah.
You have been so bad on 3rd down at times, but you're 100% 4 for 4 on 4th. You can't live on an edge like that all the time.
True. And I think you're right. That's what's happening in the Rams building right now. Hey, you guys got to win 1st down. You got to win 2nd down. Because what happened the last time these two teams met, 3rd down was 3rd and short regularly for the Panthers.
Yes.
And that's what they need to have happen. again in this game. I think corner is a little bit of an issue for the Rams. I think that's in the favor of Carolina. If the passing game, as we said, it's inconsistent at times, can be consistent, I think that's in their favor in a sense. And so I think this is going to be more of a game than I think people outside of maybe Charlotte are thinking it's going to be. I think that's a part of it. And before we go, I just wanted your take on Dave Canales for the year. There was a lot of questions going into the season. Like, did we make the play on the right guy? I'm just kind of curious what your take is, because I feel like some of those questions were answered this season.
I don't think some of those questions were answered. I believe that all those questions were answered, that Dave Canales is your coach. I've said it, and I'll say it again in case some people forgot. No, it was back in 25, and I don't even consider 2025 ever existing in my database, because I was on the set of Men in Black a couple of weeks ago, and zoop, so I don't remember anything, but I just remember I was born in 79 and 2024, and bada bang, 2026. So 2025 doesn't exist to me, but I think Dave Canales has done a remarkable job in balancing him implementing his offense, retooling, reloading, and starting over and learning how to be a head coach and also offensive play caller and managing everything. He's had to bench Bryce Young. He's had to bench Andy Dalton, bring Bryce Young back in, and encourage him, lift him up, give him some tough love, some criticism, some coaching. And he's done it all. And you have not heard one guy come out of there, and whether they've been cut or stay there and they say, man, Coach Canales is full of blankety blank. You don't hear that at all. Stays extremely positive. He's always looking to energize and keep competitive edge in the locker room. So it's just a different tone when I go into that facility. Different tone.
I heard he's positive.
Bro, I mean, I think I said is I thought he's almost too positive, and then it was like, you know what? He's like lemonade. It's refreshing, right? You think, you're like, man, I need a little, but the way he does it and how he goes about it, and I told him, man, the way you got your guys back, man, I'll run through a wall for you, coach. If I was in that locker room, I'd be running through a wall for him, just because just the excitement and just a great coach, man. He's a great man. He's a great person. So it's night and day, because the last play caller they had, not Frank Wright, but the last play caller Carolina had, every time I talked to that guy, he was always, when I was talking to him, he was always looking for the next person to talk to while he's talking to you.
I know that, true.
And I'm like, you know what? You got a genius. That's why your ass got fired.
Well, I'm excited to see some guys run through a wall on this weekend, Steve. Let's go.
They're gonna run through a wall, or that wall's gonna run through them. It's once you accept that jersey, run out that tunnel, Bank of America at 4:30, they're expecting you to show up.